Hey, everybody in Angelina County and beyond. Hey, this is a must watch. If you live in Angelina County, uh, you need to just hear this out. You don't even have to share it, but this is just for your information. For those of you on Twitter and Instagram, yeah, you guys go ahead and share it. Facebook, we all live in a well, never mind. So anyway, breaking news: Dean Malone has just put out an article. Dean Malone is an attorney out of Dallas, and he specializes in uh, investigating, I would say, law enforcement, but primarily he does work with jails and the injustices that go on with jails. And he has a really, really good track record. He's located out of Dallas. And I spoke with his secretary today. Him and I are going to speak tomorrow. And I'm going to give him information. I have some information to share with him, whatever. But anyway, if you need a link, if anyone who has witnessed or has been a victim of Angelina County Sheriff's incompetence, any complaint or whatever, the link is in my description. He has a AI chat box which is open 24/7, and they'll review your case for you. And then it's free to review your case. And then once it's reviewed, then you can move to the next step and actually get him working on your case. However, the fact is that we do know that Mr. Malone is now working on the Mr. Stolik case, which was a death, the Angelina County Jail. It happened recently. Breaking news on this is that the state issued a report stating that Mr. Stolik died of an amphetamine overdose, which was incorrectly diagnosed by the sheriff and the medical personnel in Angelina County. They said he died of a cardiac arrest. That's not the case. He died of methamphetamine abuse. Now, disclaimer: there's many people who say, "Well, he got what he was coming to. Yeah, he did drugs and he died, whatever." The answer to that is that Texas State Code and also the United States, that if you are a detainee in any jail, including county, that you receive proper medical care, proper mental care, proper physical care. You can't be abused. These items go on for infinity. The case basically is this for Mr. Stolik. It is that he was in jail for 3 days, suffering from withdrawals, and nobody reported it. The people on hand that were there reported he was tweaking. Whether you guys realize it or not, tweakers, you guys see them all the time. Tweakers, they're at the first stage of poisoning by any drug. That is a very serious matter because the fact is that they need to be monitored. And many people will say, well, why we got to pay taxes on taking care of these people that go in? Well, let me explain to you why. Shit's about to hit the fan. I beat the Smallwood case to death, but I did tell everybody that this was going to happen again based on the information that I received and did not receive from our sheriff's office. And par for the course, this almost mirrors it. The keynote is that there was a period of time where these individuals were seen by medical staff. They were cleared. Mr. Small was put in restraints. Mr. Stolik was not. But it basically is medical malpractice. And our county should have known about this before or prevented this. This death may have been prevented. I don't care what anybody says about anybody else. I have no right to judge, and I don't judge people. But this person had a problem that hadn't been addressed. But he is a living being, and he deserves every chance to live that we can possibly provide. Who would have known This might have been this might have been his come to Jesus moment, and he may have went through rehab, came out, be working at your local grocery store, whatever. But everybody wants to look at the negative, and then what about the positive? So why this gets interesting is because the fact is that this civil lawsuit that's actually getting ready to drop in the behalf of Mr. Stolik is handled by a professional. This is what this guy does for a living. The DA that we have in Angelina County, not even in his league, let alone our county attorney. There's no way he's in there. They're in his league. We are going to get hit with a lawsuit, and I will go in to future mode, and I will state it's going to be $1 million or more. And here's the reason why it's going to be that bad. It's because the fact is that they knew about it during a Smallwood investigation. They didn't release a video. The grand jury did not get to see a video. This was during the time of Janet Castles, where she would never put somebody from law enforcement in jail. And the grand jury, we cannot confirm or deny that they got to see the video. If they did, then it has to be released to the public. But Sheriff Selma refuses to release this video. That should have been a red flag at the time. That should have been a red flag. As we have now in the Stolik case, this kind of mirrors this, whatever. So I'll speak about the Stolik case as it applies to Mr. Smallwood's case. No one was interviewed. This means the individuals did not go on record who were there. The only statement we have from them is from Sheriff Selman's statement said, well, they noticed he was tweaking. He didn't talk to the individuals who witnessed the death or the events that occurred to his death. You didn't talk to you didn't put on record the guards. You didn't put on record the trustees. You didn't release any information outside of a public statement that you provided to the public and the press, and you weren't even there. You weren't even there. We thought that the Texas Rangers was going to take over and run this case like Smallwood, where it just don't cross the thin blue line. Let them investigate themselves. However, the fact is that after Smallwood, there was repercussions at the DPS, Texas Rangers, and they said, we're going to actually have somebody else review these cases. And so we did, and it came back that state of Texas declared, reviewed the coroner's report, pretty much kept the Texas Rangers totally out of it as much as possible. What does that tell you? But going back to the Stolik case, is going to be very monumental, and here's the reasons why. It's because not just the amount of the lawsuit that we pay. By the way, we just got our insurance increase for liability of these personnel from $1 million to $2 million. So in other words, before, whenever there was a liability case, then we would actually have to put up half the money, $500,000, and they would cover the rest. But due to our track history, they have upped the coverage to $2 million. So we had to come up with $1 million up front. And I don't even know what the deductible is, but we pay for it every month. And whenever the individual got up and told us that we were changing this, never told us how much we were going to pay month, annually, nothing. And that doesn't show up anywhere in the notes or the agenda items. So keep in mind, if you will, now we're in this box. There's the insurance. Now, here we go. Sheriff Selman is done. He's toast. He can no longer be employed by law enforcement across the state of Texas, except for Angelina County. Can you imagine going to an interview trying to be a sheriff? and telling your future employers, well, yeah, when they ask, well, what are these two deaths? Well, grand jury didn't indict them. Um, I made the statement. Well, was there an investigation done? So right off the bat, he's not going to get a job anywhere, not even in law enforcement, because now we have the Gypsy Comp rule, where the fact is that now this was on his watch, whether found guilty or innocent, it doesn't matter, because the fact is he can never work anywhere else. But since we, Angelina County, allow for this kind of thing to happen, then he'll continue his job here and continue on running the prison the way he runs it. And then down the road, we're going to have another death. Somebody's going to get arrested for public intoxication. They're going to go to jail. It's going to be neglected, and they die. Part of course, right? But not only does that affect Sheriff Selman, this decision, is the fact it's the reason why. The bad thing about it is the reason why it's so bad is because the fact is that he hid information. He hid the video from the public. Okay. And he continues to hide a video of Stolik. Now, here's where it gets ugly real quick. If he did not provide video evidence to the grand jury, if he refuses to release it to the public, if he refuses to release it as part of discovery, it's tampering with evidence. Tampering of evidence, which is 10 years right there. If it is proven that he lied in his report from not disclosing the video and anything he said was not true, then he's liable to the families and opens up the county to another whole civil lawsuit scenario. Now, Nick Gardner plays a role in this too, because he is the acting warden. We've had a problem with wardens turnover. We've had a problem with those in the past. Nick Gardner has actually been, he's been served a subpoena for his noncompliance. That's a civil lawsuit that we're still going to have to resolve. Stacy Perdue, same thing. And also Greg Sanchez, they're all lumped into this one big lawsuit. And that hasn't even come to light yet. It's with the 5th District Court right now. And hopefully they're going to serve these two individuals. Nick Gardner's already been served, so that's done. He's already been served. His lawyer has contacted the 5th Circuit, and so that's already done. It's going to go to trial, and either he's going to settle or what. But this lawsuit does something different for Gardner, because it actually sues him in his legal capacity and also his personal. So he can end up paying. The county could end up paying for it, but he's still going to be resolved. He's still going to have another lawsuit where he's got to pay out of his pocket. Doesn't look good there, too good there, does it? And then you tack on the information that he contributed to the evidence of tampering. It ain't looking too good for the home team. He probably would never work in law enforcement again. Stacy Perdue, we know, is never going to work in law enforcement again, because the fact is the stuff that she got caught doing, but we don't even know. But the 5th District Court of Texas, they did. How did this get past the county attorney? Well, because it's a civil lawsuit, it went straight to the feds. And this is where these cases are going. They're going straight to the feds. They don't have to go to the county. They don't have to go to our local district courts. They have to go to the 5th District Court. It's got to be a civil lawsuit, and it will be. The only question is who all this civil lawsuit is going to entail. And here's the reason why I say that. It's because any individual who was present, any individual who witnessed this, any individual who knew, kept silent, didn't say anything, didn't come forward, then they're subject to indictment as well. Now, that goes back when you get ready to those individuals. That not only civil court, that goes to criminal court. That goes to criminal court along with Sheriff Selman's name at the top of the page, that he tampered with evidence. Then he withheld that evidence from the public and also the grand jury. If that's the case scenario, guess what? We got a full-blown scandal on our hands. And keep in mind, this this all goes in before we've even started construction on a jail extension. Do you see why they want to keep it quiet? Do you see why they don't want to cause any waves? Per Keith Wright, on September the 14th at a commissioner's meeting, he stated, if y'all all know what I know about the roads and the jails, y'all would be disturbed. Okay, we're disturbed. Show us what is wrong. Tell us what is the problem. Tell us why we should be disturbed. Why do you get to be the keeper of information and disseminate as you want to? It's not transparency. As Mr. Jeffers told him a long time ago. That's not transparency, Jeffers. He was right then, just as it's right now. Sunshine Act doesn't mean you can just pick and choose which information. No, whatever's public information, you have to disclose it. If it's not, then you're held liable. So it doesn't matter the Attorney General's opinion at this point. It doesn't matter because it's federal court. Attorney General ain't got no say-so in it. And this was prefaced by the fact that the county attorney asked for the Attorney General's opinion. Attorney General said, yeah, you can withhold it, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. It has to be settled in the court of law, basically, is what he said. And guess what? Now we're going to settle it in the court of law. So not only is Angelina going to have to pay for her defense, but they're also going to have to pay for the court fees, all these fees or whatever. Just like they did in Terry Pitts' case, who's a commissioner. We never even got the total of how much it cost us legally to do the legal work on that. So we don't even know who the lawyer was. So, like I said, each individual who was or knew, not even knew about this incident, but knew about prior incidents, not only just of death, but any kind of law that was broken and didn't say anything or didn't take it up the proper chain of command, everybody held liable too. But the problem, like I said, the problem is that these individuals are not going to go to civil court. They're going to go to criminal court. Which once they go to criminal court, their law enforcement days are over as well. Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're acquitted. Doesn't matter. No, not because of the gypsy law that just passed in 2023. That means all full disclosure has to be obtained by the hiring agency. And also now, TCOL, Texas Commission of Law Enforcement, they have also authorized the fact is it's public. The public actually look up the records of these individuals. And the reason why is because cops kept moving. Okay, I got in trouble here, so I'll move over this county. I'll get in trouble over here. So it's a gypsy cop thing or whatever. So that's what it is. So I'm going to keep following the information that comes out, and I don't rely on our county to give me the information. I learn better than that because they don't tell you the real deal, and they whitewash it and think everything's covered. But now we're finding out that's not necessarily the case. Not only with these cases that are involved, but also with their roads and any situation that comes up, they whitewash it and tell everybody's going to think everybody's going to be okay. I remember last year, Keith Wright at the end of the meeting said, well, y'all going to have to just trust us on the roads. Okay, so we trusted you on roads. Now, in 2024, you're saying, well, if you knew what I knew about the roads and jails, you should be disturbed. Well, I'm disturbed. I was disturbed in, but you said you trust you. See a problem? I don't have, see how I have a problem trusting them? God forbid one of them go on the record and actually set this straight. The only interview they'll do is the Lufkin News. Stay on and run. So there are a lot of other areas that are actually I'm looking up and seeing how this legally will affect the entire county. But you can bet your ass on this. It's going to attack you. It's going to attach extra fees. The tax rate's going to have to go up to pay for this. They're going to have to get they're going to get the money from somewhere, because this money is going to come directly out of our contingency fund or our general fund, which means that we are going to have to pay. We're going to take that and we're going to have to pay something else to transfer that money. And they'll hide it around numbers or whatever. Well, we'll take this and put it over here, put this over here. Hey, you know what? Bottom line is that, you know what? You didn't balance your budget because this came up, and guess what? You didn't count on $2 million coming out of your budget in 2025. There's no way you can predict that, but it's coming. In closing, like I said, I have warned everybody, and everybody ignored me. Everybody said, you know what? He's a dumbass. You know what? He's crazy. Hey, I'm crazy and I'm a dumbass. You can ask anybody; they'll tell you. But I was right about this. What are the odds, huh? Because I did my research, and I didn't accept bullshit answers. I asked a few questions: who, what, when, why, how come, who said so, where's it written? And unfortunately, in Angelina County, that's the steps you'd have to go through to obtain information that affects your daily life. In a recent commissioners meeting, our tax rate went up 0.445%. That's not bad, does it? You're like, okay, but you look at the actual percent that you're paying on our tax, 8.02% for your property taxes. They didn't tell you that look too good, did they? Hell, half people are only paying 6.5% for their freaking house payment. So, like I said, this is going to get worse before it gets better. And I believe at this point in time that any money spent toward the jail should be going for training. Item 17 of our standing operating procedures states that they have no certificate program for deadly force, applying restraints, or recognizing medical issues to be reported. You're supposed to get a certificate for all that. And then every year you're supposed to update that certificate. I wrote, and they actually told me, well, we just do it on the job training. It's not what that's not what the state of Texas requires. And that's going to come up in this trial or in the civil lawsuit. I'm just telling you what I see and what I have read and what I have spoken with people about and what I predict, or I'm telling you how bad it could go, because the fact is that that's the way I look at things. I look at the worst case scenario, then I work up from there. People always say, well, it'll never happen here, it'll never happen to me, or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm trained to prepare myself. What if it does? I want to be ready for that. So this is the way I looked at this. I'm looking at these investigations as they move forward. And also, I think it's a good idea for you to actually try and find out from the courts, how many civil lawsuits do we have on file against Angelina County that are currently working through the court? Because the fact is that all comes to play in our next budget and how much our property taxes are going to go up next year. Make no about it. To raise taxes means we can't pay our own bills. So we got to raise taxes to pay our own bills. So I'm saying we need to provide training, $2,500 to get everybody in one room, okay, or do it in shifts. One shift, complete class in 4 hours that day, where a professional can come in and issue certificates. They can ask questions and they can apply these things that they've learned. Did they only provide that? So if you're going to put somebody in charge of another person, you got to hold them accountable when that person dies or gets sick or you hurt or they're hurt on your watch. Simple. So stay tuned, especially for you guys on Instagram and also from, I got Patreon too, Patreon, Instagram and Twitter, and I'm going to post these or whatever. Basically what I'm saying is that people in Angelina County don't give a shit. It don't affect me or whatever. Well, yeah, it does. Because in the big picture, yeah, it does. You're going to be paying more for these civil lawsuits. And if they're frivolous, no, they're not frivolous. Why is it not frivolous? Well, because people died. Somebody's got to answer for that. Somebody has got the answer for that. Like I said, Selma's toast. Even if he stays in this position right here, he's going to spend more time. He's going to spend more time preparing for his case than he will being a sheriff. Nick Gardner's already starting spending out of his money paying for his defense. Stacey Purdue and Greg Sanchez, they're getting ready to start having to look for attorneys as well. But something funny tells me that Greg Sanchez this is an opportunity for him to step forward and say, you know what, I believe this is an excellent opportunity because they stacked the cards against him the whole 9 yards. And I didn't agree with everything Sanchez said, but I will give him this. He stuck up for his people, right, wrong, and different. He stuck up for his people, and that's what an NCO does. And even if they're handled in the unit, and apparently he did so, but him and Selman had a falling out about this Jaill situation or whatever. And it is murky at best if we still can continue on with this extension of the Jaill with these cases going on against the Jaill. I would not be surprised if Mr. Malone comes out and says you need to stop all operations except for essential operations at the county jail until we get this case over with. And you need to start transferring your inmates to other counties. We got slapped on the wrist a couple of times for these cases. Well, not distributing medication, not checking on people, not distributing medication right, not giving people not giving their medication. Why'd they do that? Don't give them so they flip the hell out, pay back, they flip the hell out, and then they got to put them in solitary confinement. Give them a reason to. Why? Because they didn't give them his medication they're supposed to be. I'm sorry, but people go in, they got sick, they got conditions, diabetes, pneumonia, all these issues. And I'll be honest, during COVID, nobody from the jail died. Now COVID's over with. Now we already got 2 people, 2 of which happened in the same year, or almost 12 months, 13 months. So be aware. Don't take everything at face value, because you can't in Angelina County. Because the fact is that we've trusted them so long. Take your roads, for example. We've trusted them for so long. Guess what? What we're up against there. Keith Sanchez got pissed and said, "You know, I can name you 482 counties. Well, they've got the same problem." No, maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. I don't know. I didn't check the numbers, but I don't live in those counties, bro. I want to be doing things bigger, better, and faster. Tell me how I can get there. Instead of bullshitting me and telling you you're doing something, you ain't doing it. Why do I have to? Fucking roads ain't fixed. People dying in my jail. And nobody can tell me why. You think that might be a question that they want to answer? Or let's turn it around. Isn't that a question that maybe you might want to ask and see what kind of answer you get? Let's see. See how many actually respond. Or will you take this lightly? And then how many deaths does it take in a year for you to recognize we got an issue here, we got a problem? It's costing me money. It's costing you money. And it's costing the whole integrity of our government system here in Angelina County. Somebody give me a number. Well, how many people have to die or get injured or suffer negligence from our county employees in our county before we say enough is enough? Just give me a number, and I'll keep track of it. When we get that number, I'll let you know. But I reached my number. 2 people in a year. And we just settled in 2022. We just settled a Hartman case with $476,000. And it's going to be twice as much of that because the fact is that the Hartman case settled. This one ain't settling, bro. This one ain't settling. It's going to trial. And the amount will be awarded by the jury, the judge, and the jury. This is going to trial. One of the best attorneys that we have in the state. If they're not sweating bullets right now, they shall be. Once all these documents start hitting their desk, which, like I had a link there, and there's also an article and on his website where he actually posted this, and we're sharing it. We share it. We share. People what I know, veterans, people who really care, we share stuff. We don't keep things hidden, because if you keep things hidden, something's going to come back to bite you in the ass. So I my suggestion to the individuals who are employees there that actually know what's going on, if you were incarcerated there, if you were mistreated, you need to come forward now. Because if you come forward now, not only will this end the situation and nip it in the bud, but you can get paid too for your suffering. Keith Rock can say frivolous all he wants to. Frivolous lawsuits, frivolous lawsuits, frivolous. Guess what? He don't get to decide what's frivolous. The judge gets to decide. The Fifth Circuit gets to decide. And it's gone to the federal level now. We could play around with the 217th and the 157th court all we want to. But the Fed's got it now, man. You don't push it too far. See what happened. Katie barred the door. Hey, guys, thank you for sharing. Thank you for just watching this. Like it, share it. Hell, talk about it in your prayer meeting. I mean, that's how information gets shared. If I say something in Zavala, hell, it's whatever I said was already north of freaking north of Lufkin within the time I get home. So might as well share it now or start talking about it, because guess what? You want to defend somebody? Go ahead and defend them. See if you can defend them. If you can't, then you got to say, well, I got to step back and take a look at this. Because Angelina kind of smart individuals. They actually read stuff in there and actually read stuff into that. Because the fact is they have to have time, because they don't tell us the actual real deal. Ask them for it. Thank you, guys. Thank you, other guys that are on my other pages. I do it on YouTube, so I can quickly transfer it over to my other platforms. So you guys be good and be careful. Hey, keep your powder dry. And I'll keep you informed. I'm out.